This is Reverend Don Lewis coming to you from beautiful Florida. And today our question comes to us from Lord Jason. And Lord Jason has this question. It is a question about phobias, and his question is, what if people have phobias because of the ways that they died in past lives? And my answer to this is that, in my point of view, this can be a cause of phobias, and I've encountered this on a number of occasions. But of course it's important to remember it's not the only cause. I would think that a phobia could be very easily caused in perfectly ordinary ways in this current life, and does not inherently need a past life explanation. Nonetheless, sometimes there is a past life explanation, and this can be either for a phobia, or for a less serious fear, or a sensitivity, or for positive things like talents and abilities. We draw many things forward from past lives. We definitely draw relationships forward and emotional connections. But on the subject of phobias, yes, the way that you died in a past life, in my opinion, can certainly cause a phobia in subsequent lives. And I'll give you an example. And I've given this example on the vlog before. I had a very good friend by the name of Judy who was very much afraid of swimming and immersing herself in bodies of water. It did not necessarily apply to things like the bathtub or the shower, but it did apply to swimming pools, lakes, etc. And all her life she wondered about this and did not really understand why she was afraid of this. Nothing bad had ever happened to her regarding water in this life. And then one evening she happened to be watching television, because this was many years ago when television was still a thing. And she happened to see a program on the sinking of the Lady Elgin. And this is a famous maritime disaster that involved a pleasure cruise on the ship, the Lady Elgin, on Lake Michigan, which ended with, I believe about 300 people drowning. Certainly a good number of people. And as she watched this program, Judy had a growing sense that she had been on this ship in a past life. And the more she watched, the stronger the feeling was. And so she did a little bit of work with this, and after this, her fear of water went away. And I would say this is a very good example of someone who had a past life-based phobia. And once she realized the cause and worked with it a little bit, it left. It's not always that easy, but sometimes it is. I myself have a little bit of this. In my family, there was a belief that I was the reincarnation of my deceased sister, who had died many years before I was born by drowning. And from an early age, I had a fear of falling. But I was never particularly conscious of any fear of water. But then one day, not terribly long ago, I was having a conversation with Edward, and he pointed out to me that I live in Florida and go to the beach sometimes, but have never gone in the ocean. I live in a house with a pool, but have hardly ever swam in it. I go to hotels that have hot tubs and almost never use them. So I might not have a fear of water, but I certainly don't go out of my way to get into it, which makes sense in the idea that I may have died by drowning in a past life. So the answer that I would give to this question is yes, absolutely. Phobias in this life can come from past ones. And what do you do if you find them? Well, you do the same thing you do with any other piece of past life information. You work with it through meditation, through soul retrieval, through other forms of shadow work, and it can certainly be cleared. And often realizing that there is a past life origin is a key part of clearing it for many people. So that would be my answer. I hope you find it helpful, and until next time, may you blessed be. Pray for peace. Pray for love. Pray for stability. Pray for the nation where you live. Pray for the world.